olive oil or cooking oil. I don't put water
Well,
in
that
there.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People,
Let's get into it,
great
man.
stuff, man.
Let's get into this, dog. We
Let's
got a
do
lot
it.
to talk about, man.
I don't even know where to start, man. But you know what? I've been sitting on my thoughts about, well, not sitting on them. I've been voicing them, just not on our show,
Yeah,
obviously.
you damn sure have been voicing
About
on
the
it.
Lakers taking on the Nuggets in a game where Stephen A. Smith said we didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of beating the Nuggets. And I think most of anyone I would have talked to would have said, yeah, y'all probably not beating the Nuggets. The Lakers came off an abysmal kind of 2-game stretch where we lost to.
You lost to the Hornets.
Yeah, we lost to the Hornets.
All-Star break.
Then we lost to Utah right before the All-Star break. 2 of the worst teams in the NBA. We beat Portland. Whoop-de-doo. And then all of a sudden, boom, the competition shoots through the roof. We go into Denver against the Denver Nuggets, and we whoop their ass. That was a great, great game, man. I mean, I was expecting the usual, we go up by a few points. We're up by 7 or 8 at halftime, and then here comes the Luka Doncic, or excuse me, sorry, I'll get to him later. Here comes the Jokic and Jamal Murray show in the fourth quarter to reel off 10 straight points and kill us like they've done time and time and time again. Well, It didn't happen this time because there's a new sheriff in town. Luka Doncic came in, and I loved every minute of it. I love the fact that Braun picked him 2 times in the first half and thought that he had done something spectacular. And then Luka just crapped all over him for the rest of this game. Oh, man, but I got to say, man, it surprises me now even to see this guy in the Lakers uniform. The step-back threes, the ease of being able to get in the paint and just stop on one leg with one right before the paint, just throw the ball in the hoop very nonchalantly, and being able to create for other players. I don't think he's an underrated passer by any means. I think both folks know that he's a great passer, but to see it in person on this team has been a joy to watch. I gotta say, man, LeBron. This is one of those games where LeBron could take a back seat. He was definitely more of a presence on the defensive end in this game. I think he had 9 rebounds in the last game, so he was doing his job as a traditional 4, which we've talked about before, or 3. And Austin Reeves has been a revelation over the past month. He's been on fire. Extreme amount of confidence. I mean, who are they playing against?
You are in so much shock right now.
Who are they? Yeah, I am.
Like,
they were playing against. Was it the Nuggets? Maybe it was the Nuggets, or I forgot who it was we were playing against. But they were sending everybody they could at our third scorer, Austin Reeves, and couldn't even guard him. And so it just gives you an idea that this team offensively can do a lot. And defensively, they look pretty good. They did a great job of defending Nikola Jokic. They crowded him with smaller players, and he wasn't able to have himself a great game. I want to point out that Russell Westbrook and Jokic both had triple-doubles in this game.
And lost by 20
And lost
still.
by 20 points. All right, so we can get rid of the triple-double thing. It's not doing anything for anybody.
Nope.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I was so glad to see the damn Nuggets go down. I'm so tired of losing freaking teams. So it was a great win. B, did you get a chance to catch it before I start talking about the newscasters?
Yeah, I caught it there. I mean, as a Laker fan, you can't be any more happier that LeBron's got a sidekick. And here's the one thing we need to really focus on is watching the game. The focus wasn't about LeBron and the basketball.
No, it wasn't.
A lot of the points that LeBron had, he came off the ball. None of that was surrounded by him. And that's what he's going to need to kind of prolong what he's doing right now, which, first of all, the man's 40 and still playing like this. The dude took off halfway from the free throw line on a fast break dunk with ease, all right? So really, people enjoy this because we're not going to see this as often here. And the next guy we're going to talk about later on is still doing things at a very old age that nobody else is doing.
No, absolutely not. At 40 years old, there is another player 40 years old that could do any of this.
Exactly. But the big thing here is the way Luka draws the attention of the defense here. The more he's going to attract, the easier the game flows for the rest of the Lakers here. And especially a guy like LeBron James, because now you have to figure out who are you going to put your focus to? And LeBron now has somebody that can help take that pressure off of him instead of everybody blitzing LeBron and saying the rest of the Lakers are going to have to beat us.
Right.
They can't do that no more. And it's going to improve the overall skill of everybody else as well. Guys like Rui Hachimura, Jackson Hayes, like you said, Austin Reeves. These guys are seeing relevations because they are getting open because of those two on the court.
Yeah.
Teams are able to have a little bit of a run when either or is not on the court. But when both are on the court, it becomes a matchup nightmare for every single team out there because you're going to have to pick and choose what you want. They picked LeBron and Luka absolutely torched him. He had 32 points, 10 rebounds,
7 assists.
7 assists, a damn near triple-double. This is the Luka everyone has been waiting for, including in Dallas. Yeah. And it's amazing what a change of scenery could do for somebody like that. And this isn't just a simple change of scenery. You are in Los Angeles, where, like we've talked about it is either win or bust.
Yep.
You have to perform at the highest level. And sometimes when you go to these real major markets, the pressure that it puts on you weighs heavily here. And it looks like he responded very well because he helped a team, and you damn well know just cannot win in Denver.
Yeah.
Could not win against Denver.
Exactly.
Even at crypto. They went in there and literally belt to ass the entire Denver Nuggets roster there. So that is a plus sign. However, I will rain on your guys' parade. That was just one game.
Yeah. So no. It was one game, but if you're a Laker fan and you've been watching them lose to the Nuggets for a better part of 3 years, it's a big game. Because let's be honest, the Nuggets come into these games knowing that they can beat the Lakers. Like, that's how they play. They come in there knowing that, if we just execute, this team's not going to be a problem. They might get up early, but once we execute, we can get it done. But what we saw today was that extra piece of having Doncic out there, it really changed the way that they had to play us. And even when Luka was out there by himself and LeBron wasn't in the game, you just see how much gravity is put towards him on the defensive end of the ball, where guys have to figure out where this guy is going and be accountable for him. You saw possessions where Rui Hachimura is just taking wide open threes, standing by himself. You had other plays like you talked about where LeBron is coming from the weak side and catches the ball, and they somehow forgot about LeBron, and he's just driving right to the rim and gets a layup or a dunk. I mean, this is the type of stuff you're dealing with right now, and it's really a great thing to watch. But I think what's even more impressive is the fact that they were able to defend. It's great that they could put up offense, and you have these offensive players on your team. Okay, you're going to put up points, but for guys like Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, who spent most of the night guarding Nikola Jokic, you talk about DFS with Dorian Finney-Smith, even Gabe Vincent. These guys can come in and defend and give you some defense and play at a high level. And that's something the Lakers have been missing. And I think it's the type of defense that JJ Redick has been wanting to run since the beginning of the season. But they weren't quite able to do it, one, because they didn't have the players. And the other thing is, here's the dirty truth. If you have a big on your team, you got to find a way to give them the ball. Generally what that does is that clogs down your offense a little bit. When you don't have to figure out a way, because bigs can't get the ball themselves. They're not guards. When you don't have to feed a big, it opens everything up. And I'm talking to a Warrior fan who probably has known this for their entire franchise run.
Probably for the last 30 years. Right. Watching Warriors basketball.
Right, so
we've had no idea what a center was like until Andrew Bogut showed up. All right, we were holding on to a Donald Foyle for such the longest time.
Stupid, man. A Donald Foyle. So to see the Lakers kind of really blend into that or go in that direction, the coach did a great job, I thought, of blocking off Nikola Jokic. They did a good job they hit him at every single portion of the floor. They did not let him get into the paint, unencumbered. Somebody was around him at all times. They fronted him every single time and forced the pass to another direction. And I thought they did a really good job. Jamal Murray had a couple of big shots, but Jamal Murray, he's a streaky guy. I mean, he'll have games where he is on fire. He'll have games where he kind of, and let's be honest, different Nuggets, they don't play defense. They don't. No. They don't know how to play defense.
And what's the one thing we always talk about the most? Joker, whatever you want to call him, He's not a rim protector.
No.
The man is that tall and has so much skill on the offensive end. It blankets how terrible he is defensively.
Yeah.
He is not going to defend the rim. And you saw the Lakers go to the hoop. They lived at 86 shots. 41 of the 41 three-point attempts, which I think is still too high for a team like that, but 86 attempts in the paint,
Yeah.
that, or just high percentage shots. They shot 50% from the field with that.
Yeah.
Like that's what you want. But I want to give you the biggest line here: the turnovers. The Lakers only had 8 turnovers, yet they forced 20
Yeah.
on the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
And so that was big here when you talk defensively here.
Yeah, if you go up and down that roster, you look at the box score, you'll see that there are a number of guys in there that were wreaking havoc. One of those guys that didn't have any points was Jared Vanderbilt, who only played 8 minutes, 8 minutes. And
6 minutes.
6 minutes. But the minutes that he did play were very impactful. He got up under Jokic's skin, got an offensive foul from him by literally just face guarding him all the way down the court on every play. And really just pissed him off. And so I thought that was a great way to start the game, really just letting Jokic know that, no, we're not going to shy away from guarding you. Quite the opposite. We're going to send every single person we have at you and force you to make the player, your perimeter players, force the ball into you. Like we talked about earlier, if you have a big man on your team, you got to figure out a way to give him the ball. So what the Lakers did was make it so as difficult as possible for them to get him the basketball. And that was it. That was the game plan. They did it by using small guard. It didn't matter who it was. If he was in the paint, he was getting bumped. It was mostly it was Hachimura. At times it was LeBron. Jackson Hayes played a little bit in the first half, but didn't play as much throughout the game. They really went to a small lineup. And I thought they did a really, really good job of just keeping him at bay until they got to the point to where the Nuggets just kind of stopped trying.
Don't be shocked if they use that small lineup more often, man, because
they
have the guys. They have the guys to do it. I mean, again, I speak with the team that runs a small lineup, and look what it's done over the last few games here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if JJ Redick starts a smaller lineup to begin with to set the tempo pace, and then kind of work his bigs in here and there for that. But the Lakers have found something good. Y'all are sitting fourth in the Western Conference right now.
Yes, sir. And can we talk about this? Because as I grab a cord here, let's talk. I got to talk to you about something. We talked about this a little bit.
Yep.
We got all these nationally televised games now, right? We can see everything. All the games are going to be on Saturdays and Sundays. Dude, the amount of nugget glaze that I saw from Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson, and I text you, they should have changed their names to honey mustard and barbecue sauce, because they were glazing the mess out the Nuggets. I mean, it was like, Nikola Jokic is the best thing I've ever smelt in my life. His butthole smells like flowers. It was crazy. And I was just like, what? Okay, and then Richard Jefferson, the same thing. Oh my gosh, she's so great. Meanwhile, if you're watching the game, they're getting their butts kicked. Jokic had one of the worst games he's had in quite some time.
Yep.
And they didn't start talking about what the Lakers were doing until like halfway through the third quarter. The entire first half was all about Jamal Murray and Jokic and the Nuggets and the greatness. And this is what Doris Burke, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want to hear it. And this is why we miss people like Hubie Brown. Because they're not really talking about what's happening in the game. They're talking about the overall stories in the game. The Jokic is great. The Jokic can pass. No crap. Really? Wow, I didn't know that.
You don't say.
Wow, LeBron is good. Oh, really? So
Captain Obvious.
In other words, tighten it up around here. Tighten it up on these national televised games. Get us something that we can understand, that people that actually know and talk about basketball a little bit more. I'm not mad at Doris. She's all right. But to sit up and talk about crap that has nothing to do with the Nuggets getting their butts kicked, because that's what was happening.
I think
Gets
we
on my
got to look at
nerves.
it from one. We got to look at it from one perspective. One, because you guys have had to hear it for the last 3 years. I
Yeah,
think it
okay.
crawled under. I think it crawled underneath your skin just a little more, especially with the having Luca and them not even really focused on that. It was more of the story of, hey man, it's still Jokic. They have Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray. Like you
Yeah.
heard the same repetitive story
Yeah,
over
it's like,
again.
what? Shut up. It's
Your
stupid.
team walks in there, belts to ass that team, and then now it's like now you guys honey glaze that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that extra motivation and just hearing that, and then watching your team go out there do that. Can they do that in a 7 game series though against the Nuggets?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you taking
Absolutely.
that to the bank, you cashing that, you signing off on
And,
that
and
stamp?
I'll tell you why, because we're not the same team that we were. You know,
No, you guys are improved. They're improved.
here's the biggest difference. I talked about it earlier. You're not force feeding Anthony Davis for him to try to make a play, right? The ball is moving around the perimeter of the offense. Guys are getting into the paint, whether it be Austin Reeves, who was barbecuing every other white guy they threw at him from the Nuggets. I don't know what that was about. Whether it's him, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Luca, these are guys that can get into the paint and then
Yeah,
dish out. Without a big in there, you don't have to worry about the space to operate.
yeah,
You can go. The paint is yours, and you force the other team to bring their bigs in. And Jokic is not really good at that. And so whenever he's put into a pick and roll position, or he's put into a position where he has to play the shot blocker, it's not natural for him on the defensive end of the ball, and it puts him in a situation where he's got to go out there and guard Rui Hachimura on the wing. And so
yep,
that's what they were doing all day. They were bringing him out in pick and roll opportunities with LeBron. Jokic would backpedal. He'd throw the ball over to Rui Hachimura, and Rui Hachimura was open for threes all day. And so that's the different wrinkle. Because with AD, remember, we had to feed AD. That means that Jokic could stand in the paint. He didn't
yeah,
have to go anywhere because that's where AD
yep,
was. And if AD decided to shoot a three or wanted to go out to shoot a jumper, that's fine. I'll go out there and pretend I'm guarding him, whatever. But this team, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to figure out a way to keep your big from getting abused against this team. So, yeah, I
yeah,
think that's the biggest difference.
yeah. And so now let me ask you this: big game coming up on Tuesday.
Is
The
it?
Mavericks, it is.
I mean,
It
for
is.
Luca, it is, yeah.
For Luca, this is no for your entire organization because you have a guy who just left a franchise he only knew, and you got rid of a player. Now, granted, he is hurt because he's made out of glass. So
Damn.
this is a big matchup. And it's the same way when Klay Thompson came back for the first time.
Yeah.
The difference with Luca is that he only spent 5 years with Dallas before he got traded, where Klay was 13 years with the Warriors before we said goodbye. Regardless, though, the Mavs are coming in, getting rid of the player of their prime. All right, for a guy who's now injured, who knows when he's going to be back. This is a big game for the Lakers organization because this gives you the opportunity to stick it to Dallas and say, there you go. There you go. This is what you get for letting him go.
Yeah, well, for me, I feel like it's a Luka Doncic motivation.